G'day, welcome to another episode of Country Life on the Coast. My name is Sean, and on today's episode we're going to install a new screen door. I recently picked up some screen doors off Facebook Marketplace, and I'm going to use them as a replacement for the screen door we've got at the moment. I'll show you a quick picture of what we've got on the house at the moment. And it's basically falling apart. Old timber one, not the best condition. The screen is coming out. So basically it was a case of either rebuild all this, or as I said, I found these, they're actually giving them away, they were free. So I couldn't resist. These doors are actually set up for sliding doors, and as you can see, our door is not a sliding door, it's a swinging one. So I'm going to try and still use this, just put some hinges on it. My biggest issue is I need to resize it. So first thing I'm going to do is pull the screen out of it, and then it appears to be just held together with pop rivets. So we'll drill all the pop rivets out, pull it all apart, and then look at cutting it down to the size we need it to be. So if you've never had to fix screen doors or screen windows, the principle is the same on the ones I've ever had to work on before. The screen itself is held on by a rubber spline that just gets rolled or pushed in to hold it tight. And like I said, everything else appears on this one just to be pop riveted together. Sometimes I have seen them screwed together as well, depending on what is used. So to pull the screen out of this is actually a metallic screen too, which is rare. Normally they're like a fiberglass or a very soft material. So what we do, so this is the spline, and small screwdriver, you can just sort of wedge it up a little bit, and then once you've got it out, it just pulls straight out. So we have these couple of pop rivets. There's one here and then there's one on the other side as well. These were the rollers for being a sliding door, but we're going to remove those. And I'm going to drill these pop rivets out and see if this piece can come off. Because I believe there's a bracket inside of it that is what holds it together. So we'll drill this pop rivet out and see if I'm right. That's the interesting looking bracket that was on the corner that supports them all. So on this side there's two pop rivets in it, which are drilled out, so that's why that one came out pretty easy. On that corner there's definitely one pop rivet, that's how come I can get this piece out. But the other piece, there's no other pop rivets that I can see. So I'm not quite sure what's holding it in there and whether it's just sort of locked in. But that doesn't matter at the moment. We've got it apart, and it just means that I'll be cutting on this side. That's not a big problem. So now what I'm going to do is there's a couple more pop rivets here, and then I'll do the same at this end. And then we can pull it all apart. And you might have seen I screwed a couple of blocks of the wood up there. I did try and clamp it, and the clamp I couldn't hold it well enough with the clamp. So a couple of pieces of timber just to hold it, and then tap that side out, and it came out really easy then. Workbench is fantastic. Most people probably know this, but if you've never drilled out pop rivets before, the end sits on the end of your drill, and it's very tempting to use your fingers to pull that off. I did it years and years ago, only once, and cut myself. So from then on, I've always used just a pair of pliers to get it off. So every time you drill it out, you just got to remove, well I do anyway, I just remove it, but don't use your fingers. You'll cut yourself just about every time. Do it safely. So there we have it. Here's all our pieces all pulled apart. So now I just need to cut it down to size. Alright guys, so I've measured up the door opening, so I know what my dimensions are, and I've written them down on a piece of paper here. I'm going to mount it just using a couple of stainless steel hinges that I've bought. So I've measured what gap is between them, so that when I mount that on the door frame, and I'm going to pop rivet it to the door here, so allow for that spacing. And then basically then just a bit of measuring and now cutting, and we should be right to start putting it back together. So I'm going to use my old drop saw, and the other day when I was getting ready for all this, I pulled the old blade off so that I could take that into the shop and make sure I had one that had the right opening size spacing for it that it mounts on. So I've got this Makita blade specifically for aluminium. Has a lot more teeth on it than the original one, so this will be perfect. So we'll install the new blade, get this ready, get it ready to cut 45s, and we'll see how we go. Alright guys, so I've set up, I've got it clamped, I've double checked my measurements. I think we're ready to go. Now I have been told to just use a bit of candle wax on the blade before I cut. So I'm just going to do a sort of slice on this, or just to cut into it, just to put some of that on the blade. Let's give this a go. Look at that. Wow, beautiful cut. I'm so happy. I'm not sure the little bag's doing much because there's aluminium shavings everywhere, but hey, that is what it is. It works. It cuts so easily. I was concerned it might be bouncing, but anyway, it's the way to go. All right, let's do the rest. But there we go, all cut. So now we just obviously need to put it all together. But I've got to say, really happy with how well that worked. I mean, it should have worked well, and it did, but I've never cut aluminium using a chop saw before like that. The other times I've ever done it was with a hacksaw. Yeah, worked really well. My little baggie did collect a fair bit, but as you can see, there is aluminium cutting shavings everywhere, so we're going to have to do a bit of a clean up before we do anything else. And just realizing I'm going to have to cut, there was a center piece across as well just for extra support, so I still will need to cut that again, so I won't put everything away just yet. But because it goes on the inside of here, I'll need to sort of put the outside more or less together and then measure that to cut that, so we'll do that in a little while. But first thing, I think I'll clean up first. Alright, well, so I've cleaned up, we've got it all laid out basically the way it's going to go in. So what I'm going to do is do the two sides here, put in the brackets to hold it all together, and then I can sit that one on, make my measurement to cut this, and then basically attach it all, make it all fit in. At least that's the idea. And then we should be right to start installing them. Okay, so we've cut our center piece. The bracelet goes across here. So we put it, slides in there. So now I'm just going to put the two ends together, put that in, and basically fit it all together and then we should be right to start drilling and pop riveting it all together. Almost done. Got all the pop rivets done, and I found another packet of smaller ones that I could use on the center here. So I've got the whole door now all pop riveted together. I'm tempted to just put the fly screen straight up and install that now, but I think I should do a test fit first. I'm confident it's going to fit, but I think it'd be safer to check first. So we'll take it up to the house now. Maybe look at trying to pull the old one off. I might just have a quick look at the old one and see how that is screwed on and see if I can pull it off easily. And if I can, then we'll look at where and how we're going to mount this and make sure it's going to fit the way I think it is. So let's head up there. So I've had a look, and we just need to undo this screw for this sort of spring closing mechanism on it. And then there's 3 hinges on the door, all Phillips head screws, so it should be really easy to take this out. Alright guys, so I've got this set up now. So the outside is the top here, and so just going to look at getting my hinges put on. I'm going to put one here, and I've marked the other one for down the bottom of it. And what I just need to do is take out just a little bit of here so that it's all a total flat surface, because I'm just going to pop rivet them on again. So I'm going to try just filing this down. I don't quite know if this is going to work, but we'll try it. Because it's aluminium, it should file pretty easy. Otherwise we'll look at other options if it doesn't work. So yeah, let's give it a go. Back over, and we've now got the fly screen sitting over the top of it. This is the same fly screen that I actually pulled out of it before. It's the metal one, and because we've shrunk it in size, obviously it's oversized now, so that's really good. It'll make it easier to put back together. So to put the spline in, which will hold all this in, you need to get yourselves one of these tools. They're only a few dollars and it makes it so much easier. I have seen people do it before using a screwdriver and just sort of really slowly being able to put it in, but this just makes the job so much simpler and easier. So we'll start at a corner, work our way along, and then just continue around, and hopefully we'll be able to get a bit of tension to it as well, and it'll all sort of go down nice and tight. So we'll start in this front corner and try and get this installed. There we go, we've installed the spline. It's not quite as tight as I would have liked. I haven't actually used this metal fly screen stuff before. And yeah, it was just really difficult to get that to stay tight while pushing that spline in. The spline also was a lot harder than other ones that I've done before. So I'm not sure if that's because of this metal fly screen or what, but really had to push hard to get that to sort of drop in and lock in, and then just slowly rolling it around to get it all in. So it's there now, certainly not as tight as I would have liked, but anyway, we're going to move on. So now what I'm going to do is just cut off all this excess that we don't need, so then we can install the door. It's all installed. So now we'll run up there and install this one. So there we have it. The door is installed. Opens and closes. The only real issue I've got now is it doesn't stay fully closed. So what I've picked up is this little magnetic door stop. It has quite a strong magnet on it. So what I'm going to do is put this piece on the door, and then this bit can sit on the door frame like that, and the door will close up to it. That's the thinking. So this just has one screw in it, and you just unscrew this. So that's well attached. And on the door, again, this outer bit unscrews, and I've drilled and put 2 pop rivets in there. So a very simple install, but it holds the door really well. There we go, guys. The door opens and closes. So that was exactly what we're looking for. At least now we've got a screen door on it, keep out the bugs and that we've been getting in the house. So all in all, really a very cheap option. Like I said, I got these doors for free, so that was good. The hinges were only a couple of dollars each, and then some pop rivets. So yeah, very happy with that. For in this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe button, that'd be awesome, and we'll catch you next time. God bless.